Time for the Audible Wednesday afternoon. Kim Bokamper with you. You can catch us on Twitter. If you're watching us live, that's where you're catching us on Periscope. You can send your questions in via Twitter. Just hashtag the Audible. You can also see us on the Miami Dolphins Facebook page on a delayed basis. You can also see us on Miami.com. So that clears up where you can see us, how you see us, what you do when you see us. And if you want to send your questions in, you got that. Sitting next to me, number 29, Sam Madison, one of the all-time great cornerbacks in the National Football League, certainly with the Miami Dolphins. And Sam, big week for us. Alumni weekend. Always fun when they have an alumni weekend. And Matt Moore does a great job of setting all these things up. And I think he's got 100 guys coming to the game and to the events. I think we've got an event on Friday night.
Yes.
A little cocktail party on Friday night. Got a golf tournament Saturday. And then on Sunday, on game day, they'll do a little celebration at halftime. But always good to see the guys come back and catch up with everybody.
Well, Kim, definitely when these guys get together, all the different eras, it's one of those things that you just have to live and have opportunity to participate in. But it's always fun to be able to get these guys together. Not only alumni weekend, talk about the different things that we're able to do in the community. Yep. Also, with all the guys coming in, we will be raising funds, to give relief to the Caribbean islands, Bahamas, Cuba, Haiti as well.
Everybody.
So, with all the different things that the guys do throughout the course of the community, have an opportunity to raise over $500 million with the 28 or 30 different players that's still down here doing stuff in the community. It's really fun just to be able to see and attend those different events that we all hold. So, it's just going to be fun. One of those things, get the guys together, but, it's a Buffalo Bills, it's an AFC East game, so how that's going to turn out.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be fired up about it, and hopefully have a really good showing by the players.
We'll certainly feel a lot better going into this game.
Yeah.
After what we saw last Sunday, you got that offensive line back together, and I think everyone agrees that had a lot to do with what happened offensively on this football team. They're able to control the football. They're able to wear down that Pittsburgh Steelers defense the way they've been wanting to all season long. Finally got that job done. And Sam, you know how it was Sunday. Rain before the game. That's that moisture kind of soaks into the field. Then that sun comes up, and that moisture wants to climb right back up. And it jumped on the back of a lot of those Pittsburgh players. And I could tell I watched them as the offense would come off the field. And those defenders, after these long drives, they were just sucking wind all game long.
Throughout the course of my time playing here, it always was that one thing like, are you serious? Is it raining at 12:35 right before kickoff? Because it's going to sit there, it's going to drench that field. But we saw it, and it's been shown nationally, about having an opportunity to play in these early games and giving us that opportunity to have that advantage. We still have that advantage. We heard Ryan and all the guys talk about it as well. That heat, it does play a major factor once you get into the late in the second quarter because that adrenaline is pumping right at the beginning of the game. You see the guys, when they're coming out of the tunnel, they sprint down to the other end, they get their prayer in, and all the adrenaline is pumping, and you're working yourself up. And now it's time to go and play. But coming out of halftime, going into that locker room, sitting in the air condition, and then coming back out, that's the real part that really put those teams in
that
trouble.
humidity, just it takes the strength out of your legs.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does zap it. Hey, let's look at the injury report before we move on the program. As I said, you can go ahead and send your questions in via Twitter. Just hashtag the Audible. We'll go ahead and get your questions, and we'll ask them as we go along. Dolphins injury report. We all know Jordan Cameron. He's still in the concussion protocol. He's out. Arian Foster with a hamstring, practice full today. He should be ready to go. Xavier Howard, we know he's not going to play. He's out with the knee. Jelani Jenkins had a groin. He was full speed at practice. Jason Jones wasn't there today, but that was not injury related. The big news of the week, obviously, Rashad Jones with the shoulder. It looks like he's on injury reserve. He won't play for the rest of the season. And one of the guys really, when you look at this roster, one of the guys this team can ill afford to lose is Rashad Jones. The way he's been playing, he's been consistent, and he's been consistently at a high level really for the last couple of years. But when you look at this season, from week one, he's been the guy on defense that's played consistently well each and every week, make big plays, whether it's coming up making big tackles, whether it's breaking up passes, whether it's making interceptions. Got his second interception this week, and just always seems to be, Sam, in the right place at the right time. And boy, boy, that's going to be a big hole to fill. Michael Thomas probably going to step in and try to do the job in there with Caduce and try to keep that safety tandem playing at a high level.
Really big loss for the secondary in itself. You know, when you have a guy like Rashard and you have him in the positions that he's been able to play this so far this season, he's been in the middle of the football field, and he's been able to break over the top as a defensive back, as a corner. When I know that I have that safety blanket there, making a guy stretch out with those arms out, and he's going to come and knock and jar that ball loose, it feels really good for as a corner because you have that safety net. And yet still when he drops down in the box, when you know it's running situation, I can play a little bit closer to my wide receiver because he's such a really good open field tackler. He's a guy that is a knockback tackler for those people that really want to oppose their will on the running back, wide receivers, tight end, no matter who it is. So now everybody's going to have to be on point with their reads, with their coverage, and with their tackling because Rashard is not going to be there to be able to clean these things up, what we've seen in the past couple of weeks. So it's a big loss, but like you talked about, Michael Thomas, he's going to have to step up. Issa Abdul-Quddus, you know, he came down with his second interception as well. Hopefully he'll be able to see the plays that was supposed to be made over the last couple of weeks of going in and out of the lineup, but big loss for the secondary and his football team on defense as well.
Yep. No other injuries. Tony Lippett, hamstring. He was limited today. Deion Sims is in the concussion protocol. He's probably not going to play this week. I don't see him playing this week. But I tell you what, you talk about the tight ends. We'll touch on that a little bit. You're watching the Audible here on Facebook. You can see us on Periscope. Send your questions in via Twitter. Just hashtag the Audible. You can catch us on a delayed basis on the Miami Dolphins Facebook page and on MiamiDolphins.com. But talk about the tight ends a little bit. The big role played by the tight ends in this game, and everybody. Deion Sims made catches. Marquise Gray made catches. I mean, they were able to get the job done in a lot of different ways out there today.
Definitely, and what we wanted to see from Ryan is getting outside the pocket. You know, using his escapability and outside the pocket and being able to throw the ball. And we had the play action pass, but it opened up the run, which you had over 24 carries for over 204 yards from your J train, you know, so that was the positive part. But the offensive line held up. You talked about it earlier, those guys coming back, and they were solidified. They were strong up front in the running game. They were holding up in the pass game. Only two quarterback hits throughout the course of that game where, you know, over the last couple of weeks, you know, Ryan was on the ground often, early, late in the football games. But now, you know, he was able to get outside the pocket and then use his legs. So it just was fun to be able to sit there and watch these guys. But to be able to get those tight ends behind those backs where we've been, you know, trying to run the ball and they've been really stuffing us and then having the opportunity to make a play downfield, you know, it was just really fun. But to get Ryan in his comfort zone, getting outside the pocket and being able to find those tight ends.
Marquise Gray, Dominic Jones both doing a good job there also, and they'll be available to play this week. Let me go through the Bills question injury report. Cyrus Quandio, offensive tackle, questionable. Charles Clay, questionable. Tight end. Marcel Darius, a defensive tackle. He's questionable. Robert Woods, a wide receiver, questionable. LaShawn McCoy, running back, questionable. Jerome Felton, the fullback, is questionable. Cordy Glenn, offensive tackles, questionable. Santrell Henderson, questionable. Lorente McCray, linebacker, questionable. Corey White, cornerback, questionable. Questionable to me at this time of the week. Most all those guys are going to play.
Yeah, definitely all of them are going to play. Even with, Shady McCoy. You know, I think he got hurt today in practice. And you know, Rex is definitely going to play it up. Oh, your hamstring hurting? Okay, you're down for the rest of the practice. But, you know, when I'm listening to that list that you're reading out, there's a lot of offensive line on there. I don't care. Yet and still, you're on there, you have something, Bo. And yet and still, it can carry over into a football game. And it's so late into the week, you know, anything can happen. It can go one way or the other. But me as a defensive player, I'm hearing those things. And I know that LaShawn McCoy, he's a little bit banged up. I'm as a linebacker or as a safety, I'm trying to portray to everybody else, guys, listen. Let's be physical with them. Definitely, you play a little bit tighter on the outside, and we'll try to control him. But over the last couple of weeks, since they changed offensive coordinator, they've been getting the running game going. So we definitely have to watch out for it.
They've been scoring over 30 points a game on average. They've won 4 straight games. They're the hottest team in the National Football League right now. And Rex Ryan was under fire after the first couple of weeks. And then there he is, got his team right back. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And the Dolphins get to face them here at Hard Rock Stadium on Sunday. Hope it's a little steamy. Hope it's a little humid out there and they get the deal. Let's get some questions here. Fins Up 2016. Hey, Sam, how do the Fins replace number 20? Well, I don't think they replace him. Yeah. You obviously got to put somebody in physically to stand there, but to replace everything that he does on the football field, that's a big question. That's a big chore to ask somebody to do that.
Yeah, already 31 tackles, and he was on pace, to really be back in those hundreds once again. And he plays so physical, and he's been playing this way from the first day that he stepped on the football field. So, when you have a physical player that plays that way, eventually, something is going to happen. But, he's just been there for us all this time, and he's made play after play, and it's just been glaring every single week. It's hard to be able to replace a guy like Rashad. So it's going to be one of those situations. Somebody's going to have to step up.
You got to put 11 guys out there in the field. Someone's got to take his place. Sure. And, talk about Michael Thomas. He's going to get the opportunity. He's got to lift his level of play. Abdul Kudus, he's played well. Yeah. He got to raise his level of play. Everybody around's got to raise their level of play, especially when you lose a guy like that. A-Rod 4804. If the offensive line stays good, we got this game. Well, he's pretty confident about that. But I know this. If the offensive line plays the way it did, and it's interesting, Sam, to watch those guys come out. You could almost see the confidence in the way they walked out. They had a little bit of a swagger to them, a little bit of bounce to their step, and they came out from play one and were very, very physical. So I think if they play that way, I think we certainly have the opportunity, to establish the running game. If you can get it going again. And look, no one believes that Jay Ajayi is going to come out and rush for 204 yards again. 200 yards in a game is a very rare situation in this league. But you'd like to see him come back and be able to throw back another 100-yard game in there and really, stay with that running game, get that going. Because when you see the running game, and Sam, we've talked about it all season long. When you get that running game going, now Adam Gase can get to the rest of his offense. And we certainly saw a lot of that on Sunday.
And then you're going to see those positions where they had the opportunity to make those big plays. Yep. A couple of balls in the end zone that should have came down as touchdowns, and Devontae in the middle of the field. What happens is now you get a lot of one-on-one scenarios, and you get those matchups that he's been looking for. So, having an opportunity to talk to Coach Gase a couple of weeks ago, he was like, Sam, I just got to find those playmakers. I got to be able to put them in position, but I still need to have that time in for Ryan to be able to get back there, go through his progressions, and still be able to deliver the ball downfield. And guys have to come up and make those plays. Going to week one and coming to right now, we've seen guys have opportunity to make big plays. They didn't come up with them. Now it seems like everybody understand their role. Listen, when you first coming into the season, everybody has that mindset, this is going to be my year. I'm going to put myself in this position to be able to do that. No, that's just not how the ball rolls sometimes. You have to fill everybody in throughout the course of I didn't know I'm going to go out and have 8 interceptions. In my mindset, we set those goals, Bo. But, eventually, listen, I want to play within the scheme of the defense or the offense and get myself an opportunity to make plays. When they're presented, you have to go out there and make that big play. And these guys have done it. And now we're just going to have to back it up once again against a very physical football team, which, over the last, since Ryan tenure, I think he's only like 2-6. So it's going to be a situation you have opportunity to.
Look, Buffalo's had our number. There's no question about that. Hey, you're watching the Audible here. Kim Bokamper, Sam Madison with you. If you got questions, just send them via Twitter. Hashtag the Audible. We'll go ahead and get them and we'll answer them. Robert 1979-69. How do we beat Buffalo? I think we beat Buffalo the same way we beat Pittsburgh. I think it's got to be the same type of game plan. Look, Buffalo's offensive line has really owned the Dolphins over the last couple of years. They've managed the line of scrimmage. They've played on the Dolphins side of the football, and they've been able to do things both running the football and throwing the football against the Dolphins. I think that's got to be job one. I think defensively, the defensive line has to figure out a way to be the ones that are dominant at the line of scrimmage in this game. And then on offense, you've got to do the same thing that you did offensively against the Pittsburgh. So I look at, going to be a little different game plan because Buffalo, I think, is going to blitz a little more aggressive with Rex Ryan on the defense, the way he likes to have his defense play out there. But I think if the Dolphins can play a similar game plan to what they did, get Ryan out of the pocket, get that running game going, use the tight ends a little bit, throw the deep ball when the opportunity presents itself, I think that's how you beat Buffalo. You beat them by winning at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football and then taking your cracks downfield when you have the opportunity.
Yeah, you definitely have to take those cracks down the field, and we got to come up with those plays. But, getting the ball, like you talked about, out of Ryan's hand, he was getting that ball out of his hand quick and fast this past week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's known to have those exotic blitzes. Once again, Rex Ryan, he's going to come up with something that the Dolphins have been having trouble with throughout the course of the first couple of games, and he's going to see if they fix those problems. And we've seen out there you having that tackle in stunts that's been giving us problems, and putting pressure on Ryan. Believe me, we're going to see it this week just to see if these guys have tightened it up. But, the last couple of weeks, last year, the whole entire time, Buffalo put up 41 points, 33 points, 428 yards, and 420 in another game. Man. So, it's one of those situations to where they think they can come in here and impose their physical will, and that's something that we definitely going to have to back up after playing Pittsburgh. A very physical game last week, and you got to see another one again this week.
Yeah, that's a confident football team rolling in, and a confident football team is a dangerous football team, no question about that. Twitter, do we need to get Parker involved early like last game? I think I want to see this guy is more involved each and every week, but he's got to want to be involved. The problem with Devontae Parker, it's not a problem, but he's a quiet guy. He was a reserved guy, and he tends to play that way on the field. Now you look at Jarvis Landry as opposed. He's an outgoing personality. He's always emotional. He's out there, and so he plays that way. And Devontae plays the way his personality is. He's got to understand how good he is, how good he can be, and how much of an impact he makes. And the other thing, Sam, when I watched Devontae, and we talked, and Nat Moore was on the show the other day. And we talked about, Devontae's got to run every route like he knows the ball is coming his way.
And that's the thing, with some of the reason why Ryan have to hold the ball sometimes. In a route, the progression, the first, second, that you're the third progression. Sometimes you're not going to run as hard when you see the coverage that somebody lines up against you. But if you have that time, and like we talked about, you have the opportunity to go through your progressions as a quarterback, if you're running that route the specific time, you're eventually going to come over later in the down. So you have to run those routes full speed every single time. Let me ask you this as a cornerback,
Sam. How many times have you been in a game where you've seen a receiver come off the line and kind of run a lazy route on you? And now, now you can slough off a little bit and maybe help with a safety, help with somebody in the slot, help somebody. And, how many times have you seen cornerbacks slough off of a guy, make an interception on a guy that's not even really in their zone if they're playing zone, or certainly man-to-man, not their guy, because their guy's not running a route that you have to respect.
Giving a lot of guys a lot of minuses on some of those plays because, like you're saying, I've been jamming the whole entire game. They don't want to come off the line because they know they're going to get jammed. So guess what? They're going to slough off. That's automatically going to tell me if it's run or pass. So now I can start to get into that pursuit where I had opportunity to save big plays from going down the field because guess what? He took that play off and I played it full speed because I didn't want to get that mounted from not chasing the football, and that's what we do as a defensive player. Everybody pursues to the ball, even if you're the last guy, because you may save a play. So, when you're not going full speed, it gives that 11th guy on the football field, even though you're running away, an opportunity, if it's a big play down the field, to be able to chase it down from the backside.
Twitter question, are the Finns looking to trade for a linebacker? I don't know about that situation right now. I don't know what they're planning on doing as far as personnel-wise with a linebacker or not. I know Jelani Jenkins played the game on Sunday. Probably looked a little tentative out there, but I think the more he plays, he'll get going. He'll get going again. Neville Hewitt's played well for him. Paysinger, when he's been in, has played well for him. Kiko's been making, continues to make a ton of tackles out there. So but linebacker, look, it's we knew going into the season, linebacker was going to be a questionable area for this football team, and I think you're still kind of in flux there a little bit at that linebacker spot. A-Rod 4804, we got him again. Does Landry break 100 yards today? I mean, on Sunday.
Well, it's possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, because now he's gotten into a rhythm. We see when he gets into that rhythm and Ryan has the opportunity to find him, he's able to get in those little zones and sit down, and Ryan is able to find him because he's able to use his leg to get outside the pocket. So, now they're on a rhythm. They have this little chemistry going on, and, he's running tough. He's running over linebackers, safeties. It doesn't matter. Now it's all about, getting in the ball in crucial situations, but we still want to use Devontae a little bit more as well. And if we can get Devontae over that 100-yard mark, that means definitely Jarvis will be close by because he'll get that junk yardage where he's able to clean up, where linebackers or safeties are starting to cover him because they're going to have to double team down the field over Devontae
Each receiver on the field, what he does affects every other receiver on the field. Whether you do it good, whether you do it well, whether you don't do it well, it has a positive or negative impact. I missed Way 954 FL. Who's going to replace Jones at safety? Well, Michael Thomas is going to get the opportunity to be the first guy in there. Hoy Vega 13. Is this a national TV game this week? No, it's not. If it's a 1 o'clock game, it's not a national TV game. Okay. You know, when the Dolphins, Dolphins get themselves back to where they're winning 10 games a year, then they'll play a lot of 4 o'clock games. Then you get the national. It's not a national game unless it's prime time, or if it's a 4 o'clock game, it is not a national game. Are the Bills tough against the run? I think the Bills are okay against the run. I don't think they're a dominant team against the run.
Yeah, just average. I mean, they have those run stoppers in there, and they always been having those different exotic blitzes to be able to stop the run. So Rex Ryan is definitely not going to let AJ Ajayi get to that 200-yard mark. And when they see a person that's that had a standout game the week before, he's always designed something to really stop it. So it's going to be a situation to where we're still going to have to put that running game, to use to draw those guys up, and then we'll be able to use that play action pass to get behind those linebackers. Still got those
big tackles in the middle. That's usually what they are, and at times they've been very good against the run. The Dolphins have to figure out a way against this Buffalo Bill football team. There's no question about that. Hey, I want to touch on also. We touched about Alumni Weekend. I just want to mention some of the sponsors, because if it wasn't for the sponsors, we wouldn't have all our guys coming out here for the game that travel out to the game, and everyone wouldn't have the opportunity to enjoy everything that goes on. So I don't want to forget them. American Airlines, Anheuser-Busch, Breakthrough Beverage, Corporate Travel Consultants, Dynaserve, Edmorse Auto Group, G4S, Hager Clothing Company, Miami Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute, MIK Construction, the Orange Bowl Committee, PepsiCo, South Florida Ford, SunTrust Bank, TD Bank, UB Chillin, Waste Management, and WRDQ. All those are sponsors, so we thank you guys very much. Appreciate it, and if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have the opportunity to have the success that we have on these alumni weekends and get. It's funny, Sam. Every time we have one of these alumni weekends, and you see guys come in, there's always that guy that you hadn't seen for about maybe 10 or 15 years. And I tell you, there was a guy that I played with for my first 2 years in the league. He was a cornerback. He was about your size. He probably weighed about 175, 180, 185 maybe, somewhere around there, fast and everything. So we were at an alumni event. We had an alumni event a few years back. And I'm walking down the tunnel to go down the field, and some guy taps me on the shoulder. He goes, "Hey, Bo." I look around and go, "Hey, how you doing?" I turn back, and he goes, "You don't recognize me, do you?" I go, "No, man, I'm sorry." And then he told me his name. I go, "No, man. You look like a nose tackle instead of a defensive back, instead of a cornerback." I said,
"Man, you gonna get me in this situation before. Remember, Troy almost would have choked me, so I'm gonna stay away from that." But you're absolutely correct, man.
Yeah, but there's some of those guys, and there's other guys you see that were big guys. And then you look at it and go, "Hey, man, what happened to you?"
Yeah, they lose that weight. They lose it. Yeah, some of those offensive linemen, man, because they've been eating, they've been lifting those weights for so long. Then all of a sudden,
your boy Tim Ruddy. It took Tim Ruddy about 6 months to get down to lose 100 pounds.
He was shredded.
Yeah, man.
Man, awesome. So you want those guys to lose that weight so they be healthy, and they're those joints, having that extra weight on you, man. It starts to wear on you, and then some guys. I ain't gonna say no names. Big Troy, Big OG.
Yeah, well, hey,
you go the other
your
way.
Boy Keith Sims done a good job of trimming down. He's done a good job.
He's held it off as well.
We were worried about him for a little while, but it's nice to see him getting himself where he needs to be. Another Twitter question. It seems that Tannehill always has a rough game against the Bills. Did you guys have a team that you always had a rough game against? Look, Ryan, look, for the last 3 years, I think the Bills have had our number each and every year for the most part. So I think Ryan, I think everybody's had a tough time against the Buffalo Bills. So I don't think it's solely on Ryan Tannehill having a tough time. I can't think of a game I always had a bad game. I tell you, I hated to go up when we played. I always never felt comfortable playing in New England. Up at old Schaefer Stadium up there. Just didn't like the stadium. Just didn't like driving to get there. It's just one of those places you just never felt comfortable in, Sam. So it wasn't so much having a tough time against that football team because we had success up there at the time. But, man, I just didn't like playing in that building,
Because I closed that I guess we closed that stadium down, right?
Yeah,
Where we had to go into the locker room and then come back out because we had an extra play. But, just having those tough games, it's always going to be somebody in the division. And, with those games against the Jets, going back and forth. Yep. Those games against the Bills going back and forth, during the time that I was playing, it was just those situations. Yep. You play them twice a year, in order for you to get to where you need to go, because they have opportunity to watch your film as well, because guess what? When you're in a division, you have to play the other three teams.
Yeah, so you're seeing
the film over and over. So the plays that you think that you was able to slide in, guess what? Yep. They've seen them as well, and they're able to chart them, so you never can get over on the teams in your division because they watch you all the time on film.
Sam, you played in that game up in New England where the game wasn't over, right?
Yeah.
I remember it was the game was over. Everyone went in the locker room. I remember I was in the locker room doing a live shot for a post-game show. Jim Mandich was in the locker room. He was doing post-game stuff live. And all of a sudden they say, hey, game's back on.
Yes.
Referees come in there. Guys are in the shower and everything. Everyone had to run out, go back on the field for one play, right? I remember there was someone I was standing next to, one of the big, it was offensive lineman, Kevin Donnelly.
With a towel. He had a towel.
He had a towel wrapped around his waist. There was nobody left in the stands.
It was freezing cold.
And the funny thing about it was Jim Mandich, was doing a live post-game show on the radio, on WQAM on the radio, and they said, everyone get out of the locker room. That's not part of the team. He opened up a door and thought it was a way out, and it was a broom closet. He went in the broom closet, closed the door, and he's still broadcasting. He goes, I don't know what's going on out there. I've been stuck in a broom closet, but I think they're going out and playing some more football.
Oh, man.
That may have been one of the more surreal, more bizarre situations I've ever seen in a football game in my life.
Well, we won the AFC. We won it twice.
Yeah, that's right.
In a couple of minutes. So, you come in the locker room, we're celebrating. Everybody's happy. It's pumped because if we win the game, we win the division, and then you're in the playoff. But if we'd have lost the game, we'd have been totally out of it. Yeah. So everybody is getting dressed. Guys already in the shower, like you're saying. Kevin Donnelly, even Jed Weaver, because they're on the offensive side of the ball. Only the defense. Only 11 guys. Put your clothes back on and go back out there. Oh,
guys had no tape on. Guys, it was one Hail Mary. It was one Hail Mary pass. That was crazy. 38 Double D Lover right here. Bo and Sam, because of last week's O-line play, please speak of the importance of third and short. Everyone wants to get third. If you're going to have a third down, you want third and short. And I think the Dolphins did a good job last week, and they did a good job of preventing Pittsburgh from getting, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, and 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. Then you run it again. Now you're 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and third and short is an offensive coordinator's dream.
Yes,
because you can do everything. You can run, you can throw, you can do a run pass option, you can do a lot of different things. So, winning on third downs, if you can get to third and short, is much easier than when you're sitting there 3rd and 14, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, where, especially against a team like Buffalo, Rec's going to make sure they bring the house and make sure that you got people in your face, especially having seen the troubles that this offense has had when they've got pressure on Ryan Tannehill early in a play.
Man, first and second down is really important. And we were finally able to get positive yards on first down. And now you're going to make the defensive coordinator think about what you're going to do. Are you going to run or are you going to pass? You're able to mix it up instead of being second and long in every single scenario so far this season. So it was just fun to be able to watch these guys. When you talk about first downs, 24 to 15, total plays, we had 68 and our defense only had 53. So they was able to go out there and play fresh and play fast. But it's really important to be positive on first down. And then you have that option to be able to run the ball or pass the ball. And we saw Ryan have opportunity to get outside the pocket, extend the play because he still had opportunity to come back and live to see another down. But guess what? He was able to not have to go to his first read, allow the deep dig to come in there, extend itself to the sideline because he has that strong arm, and throw it across his body and move the chains. So it's really important to be positive on first down because now you can do so many things and make the defensive coordinator think about it.
He did have that one play where he's going to his left side and turning through to Marquise Gray down there. I mean, that was an arm throw.
That was good.
I mean, if anyone questioned his arm strength, you don't question after a throw like that. Here's a quick one. Does Coach have any special plays for aggressive Buffalo? I'm sure they do. I'm not sure what they are, but I'm sure they do have those ready for them to go. Sam, another important game, AFC East game. You got the Buffalo Bills coming in. They're 4-2. You know, if you win this football game, you get to 3-2, or you get to 3-4 with a bye week coming in, the Jets coming in, who's been a team that's struggling. You know, there's a chance here you get this win that you might find yourself at the end of this 44-day homestand at 4-4, going out to play San Diego and the Rams.
Correct.
And now anything can happen out there. So I think this, to me, is a very, very pivotal game for this football team and what their future holds.
And, you know, somebody asked Ryan, like, hey, have they extended your play load or, you know, can they add some more? And I think, you know, Coach Gates have given these guys enough plays. They're opening it up. They have them, and they have enough on film finally, Bo, to be able to see his system. Because, you know, when we played, we had season after season the same type of defensive scheme. And we always can go back to another film from another year, be able to watch it and say, this is how you're going to make this play, and this is how you're going to make this play within the scheme of this defense. Now, having these 6 games under our belt, I think Coach Gates can go back now and say, guys, this is where you're going to make a play, Kenny. This is where you're going to make a play, Devontae, because now they ran a defense to that, ran another defense, and you've seen everything because I believe because of the new scheme on the offensive side and Coach Gates and the defensive side of Coach Vance Joseph, nobody knew exactly how or where they were supposed to make a play. You have enough plays now to understand where the plays, and now they have to be individually and go and make it.
All predicated on getting off the ball, on getting some positive yardage on first down. And you said, if you got a third down, get in that third and short situation, give you options. A lot of good things happen that way. All right, that's going to do it for our show today, Sam. Always a pleasure having you here on the program. Thanks for listening. If you sent questions in, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Like answering your questions. It's always fun. We'll see you next time on the Audible. That'll be Friday. Take care. Until then.